Literally All, and I have written the weight loss recipes cookbooks, volumes 1 through 9, Cooking with Joy. And so growing up, I had always kind of been the overweight kid. From probably about 7 years old on, I found some pictures that I thought I would share with you. So here's one. I was about 10 or 12 here. These are my kitties. And then here's one I'm cooking. I think it has the date on this one. I'm sorry for the glare. Let's see. This was 2002, I think. So that was a long time ago. But as you can see, I was always the overweight kid. I never really knew how do normal thin people eat because I didn't know. My whole family, we've all been overweight. My brother has the gift of thinness, being a healthy weight all the time. So in 2018, October, my mom was in her room and God had just kind of been speaking to her that you need to lose weight because sadly in this society, if you want to have an influence, you need to lose weight. So she was praying. We tried everything. Richard Simmons. I remember being a kid and having Slim Fast and pretzels for a lunch. We did so many things. We did keto for like 3 weeks. I lost about 10 pounds. Then after I gained about 5 back. Then my mom was in her room studying and God was just telling her, go on your phone, go on Facebook. She's like, what? That can't be God. But she did it anyway. It just spoke right to her. She signed up right then. So then she called us girls into her room and she's like, okay, girls, I just signed up for this. You want to do it with me? She signed up for the 14-day challenge. So us girls were like, okay, I had just done keto for like 3 weeks. So I'm like, psh, I can do anything for 14 days. Let's do this. So it was about day 12. We were feeling great. And I thought, we're going to do this forever. I'm never going to have like, my favorite foods is like pizza and ice cream. I'm never going to have ice cream again. I'm never going to have pizza again. How will I ever live? I can't live like that. So I couldn't think very far in the future. I had to just think one day at a time, just 1 week at a time. We're just going to do 14 days and then we'll see after that. And then after 14 days, we'll do another 14 days and see after that. And after a while, it became so natural. I felt so good. The weight was starting to come off. It didn't come off as fast as I thought it would in the beginning. I thought, oh, it's going to be like keto. I'm going to lose like 10 pounds in a week. I didn't. I lost maybe a pound in a week, and I thought, this is going to take forever. I had about 90 pounds to lose, and I'm like, nah, I don't need to lose that much. I can lose like 50 and I'd be happy there. But my original goal was I wanted to lose about 80, 90 pounds, and I'm almost there. So we kept going and we kept going, and the weight just kept consistently coming off. Now, weight loss is a really weird creature. Weight loss isn't like, oh, I'm consistently losing weight. It's you lose a little, then you stall. Then you lose a little, then you stall. Then you might go up a little, then you'll stall. Then you might go up and stay there. And then a whoosh fairy comes where you'll lose like a couple pounds and then you'll pop back up again and then you'll go down. But it kept going down. You just kind of got to ride the waves. And I remember getting really frustrated that I'm like, the weight's not coming off as fast as I want it to. I want to be skinny right now. I want to just be on maintenance. This is never going to happen. It's taking way too long. And my brother, he's so funny. I was so discouraged because I was losing about a pound, pound and a half a week. And I said that and he's like, what? You're losing like a pound a week? That's a lot. That adds up really fast. And it does. It truly does. I've lost about 87, 88 pounds now, and it feels like it went like that, but yet it feels like it took a really long time. So it was about around a day 100 where like the detox had worn off. This had kind of become like, this is life now. This is how we eat. It was very normal, where I was so bored with food. I could not eat one more meal of steamed broccoli and baked chicken. I thought if I eat one more meal of this, I will just, I will almost quit. I was like, this is not sustainable. I almost quit. Then I saw this video on Facebook. You know, there's food videos everywhere. And it was for chickpea blondies, but they had like sugar and they had chocolate and all this stuff in it. And I'm like, huh, I bet I could make that work for me how we eat now. No sugar, no flour, weighed meal. So I made that when I tried that, I'm like, okay, I'm hooked. I can live off this now. So I started making that. Then I got even more creative in the kitchen. Then I started seeing other people sharing recipes. And my sister, one day in her devotions, she was reading her Bible. God said, I want you to make a Facebook page. I want you to call it Weight Loss Recipes. It was like this color. This was like almost the font of everything. And this was before I even wrote cookbook. Post a picture, post a recipe. I've had a bunch of you are on this site. It's my favorite. Everybody there is so sweet, so kind and sharing and encouraging. So she did that, and just this last week we hit 18,000 members on there. So we have a really big sugar-free family. It is fabulous. So then around day 100, I was like, you know what? We should start like a little support group around here and we should write a cookbook. And my mom's like, you should write it. You made up all these recipes. And I was so inspired. I was sharing recipes on there all the time. Everybody was sharing recipes. It was so fun. And I'm like, oh, I should put together a cookbook. So I started putting it together. My sister writes novels. So she self-publishes. So she kind of showed me this is what you do. And she kind of helped me get it all set up. So I started and I put together volume 1, and I remember getting it in the mail, and I got the proof and I was like shaking. I was so nervous. I'm like, nobody's going to like this. I'm going to get in trouble. There's going to be like food police that are going to be like, no, this is wrong. You're doing everything wrong. You can't have foods like this. I did get a couple really mean messages from some ladies that were like, I hope you get sued and you can't do this. You're just stealing everybody's recipes, which I wasn't. These are my recipes. So I wrote the book. I announced it that guess what? It's coming. And you guys were amazing. You loved it. You ordered it. It kept going, kept going. It kept going so much that I got inspired and wrote a volume 2. And after that, I was so inspired in the kitchen. I'm like, what new exciting recipes? Mealtime became so exciting. Not because of, oh, what sexy food can I have or what can I have that's on the edge, but just exciting that what delicious meals do I get to make today. And that started happening. Then I wrote volume 3, then I wrote volume 4, then I wrote volume 5, then I wrote volume 6. Then I put together, after volume 5, I put together the big book, volumes 1 through 5 in one, Cooking with Joy. That was so exciting. It's like over 300 recipes, which I was just shocked that how could 300 recipes, new recipes, all different from each other, but it's just so fun because this is just how we eat. And I'm like, variety is my favorite spice of life. So it kind of felt like a diary of what I eat every day. It was really fun. Then I wrote volume 6. Then I put together a whole food plant-based volume. Then I wrote volume 7. Then I put together a Simply Delicious because so many people were asking me, do you have a cookbook that's like a meal plan for 14 days? And I'm like, no, I don't, but I can make one. So I put one together. So it's 14 days of recipes from like volumes 1 through 6 in one book. Then I wrote volume 8. Then I wrote the brand new volume 9. Then I put together, because it was the holidays, and I'm like, oh, I should put together volumes 1 through 8, every single holiday recipe in a volume, and I did. I put that together. Then I started doing short little videos, cooking videos, once a week now, which is so fun, on Thursdays at 2:30 p.m. on my Facebook and Instagram page. I do a live cooking show, and that has been so fun getting to cook with everyone in my kitchen. So all of that happened, and it happened. I heard a saying that everything that's worth anything in life is on the other side of fear, and it really was. I remember getting the first volume. I was so scared to publish this. I was just like, I can't do this. And I remember when we decided that not just to do this for 14 days, but to keep going, that really, it was scary. That I'm like, nobody can eat like this forever. But I saw all the inspirational pictures of everybody losing weight. That really inspired me. When I would feel down, I would just go online and I would just look up inspirational pictures, be like, okay, if they can do it, I can do it. I can lose 10 pounds. I can do that one time and then keep going and then keep going. And I did, and it was amazing. So one thing I really had to settle into was I wanted to be at maintenance right now. I wanted to just be done. But I had to remind myself that life is a journey. Weight loss is a journey. And if I'm going to be eating this way for the rest of my life, to just relax, the weight will come off. Even if there are some stalls, just relax. Just keep going. It will come off. It has to. If you stick to these, if you stick to the weights of the foods, if you stick to your bright lines, it has to come off. So I relaxed in that. I went to maintenance for a little bit. Then I was like, I want a couple more pounds to lose. So I went back to weight loss. And I told myself when I made that decision, I'm like, you know what? I can make the decision. I can go back if I want to. If I don't like this, I can always go back. And same with weight loss. If I decided, okay, I'm in my right size body, I'll go back to maintenance. You can do that. I mean, it's not a permanent, oh no, now I'm on weight loss or now I'm on maintenance and I can't ever go back. You can. It's a dance and it's okay. It's a journey. Enjoy the journey, enjoy the process. No matter how many times, I remind myself this all the time, no matter how many times you fall down, you fail, you mess up, you have a bad day, as long as you get back up, you keep going, you get back to your food, you get back to the right foods, you're gonna win every time. Another thing I remind myself, and this really encourages me, is that you are only one thought away from a good day. If you're having a bad day, you're only one thought away from a good day. You just need to change that thought to, this is a good day. And just find things that you're thankful for. Instead of thinking it as, oh, I have to be in the kitchen and I have to make a meal and I have to do all this chopping and I have to do all this cooking, think of it as, I get to. I get to be in the kitchen. I get to make food. I get to make this delicious meal that I get to eat, that's healthy, that tastes good, that's good for my body, that's exciting, that's delicious, and I get to lose weight. That's a win-win. That's a win-win in my books. That makes life exciting. That makes it sustainable. When I'm feeling like, oh, I can't go on another day, then I'm like, okay, let's try a new meal today. And it makes it exciting again. And it's just, you just settle into it and it'll all be okay. You'll get there. And if we're going to be in the kitchen cooking 3 times a day, for 3 meals a day, you might not be in there 3 times a day. You might meal prep or whatever. But if we're going to be in the kitchen cooking, it might as well be fun. It might as well taste good and be fun and still be healthy. That is a possibility. Another thing I've learned is life is a learning journey. When I was younger, I hated cooking. It was a chore. It wasn't fun. It was just, you would make this big meal, hours in the kitchen, to eat this meal in like 5 minutes, and then you'd have to repeat and do it again. That just didn't sound like fun. But now, since changing this way of eating, now being in the kitchen, like creating recipes, trying new things, that just like, there's something so exciting on the other side of that brand new meal. Just being like, oh, what is this going to be like? That this is so exciting, so fun, and that it really does make mealtime exciting again. Because we're not really missing out on anything. Because I thought to myself, I'm never going to eat pizza again. How will I survive? But you can have chickpea pizza. You can have cauliflower crust pizza. You can still have the foods that bring not just like cravings, but that they bring those memories of like, oh, being a kid, that we would have Friday pizza night, or you would go out to celebrate and you'd have ice cream and then you'd feel horrible and guilty and you just wanted ice cream all over again. But now you can have frozen yogurt. You can have all these things that just bring back all these memories, but without the guilt and without awaking that craving sugar monster that just wants more. That's one thing my mom told me, and it was just words of wisdom right there. There was one night us girls were sitting there, and I'm like, oh, what I wouldn't give just to have a bowl of ice cream or something. And she's like, you know what? How long would that satisfaction last? That one bite. I was like, if I could just have one bite, I would just be so happy forever. And she's like, how long would that satisfaction really last? That one bite. 3 minutes? Maybe 5 minutes? And then what? Then you just want more. Then you just have detox after that because you know you're going to detox all that sugar. And then it doesn't satisfy. Because I remember having like cake for birthdays and stuff and thinking, oh, I could eat that whole pan of cake. And I would just want more after that. I remember having those feelings. And now when I have food, I finish my meal and I'm like, oh, I'm satisfied. That was delicious. And then I go on to living. I'm not living for the food anymore. I'm not living to eat. I'm eating to live. I'm eating to keep my body, to keep going and live in between. That's the really important part, is to remember it's just food. Food it doesn't have, make food your servant. Don't serve food anymore. Don't let your body say, oh, if you don't have that food, you're going to die. It's just food. If you have like a meal that you're like, oh, that wasn't very impressive, I've had a couple of those, then you just go, oh, on to the next meal, and then go back to your day living. Live in between the food. Do some real living. One thing I've noticed is when there's like cravings and stuff kind of like that, what is that about? It's all about us. But if you get those thoughts off of you and onto how can I help somebody else, that's one thing that I really like about these cookbooks, is it's not just, oh, there's food, but in between the food, in between life, is I wrote little personal stories about myself, about how I overcame cooking some baked goodies for a church bake sale, and that how I was there all by myself, and that the food was there. It's like, oh, just take a bite of a crumb, it fell off, you better make sure that this stuff tastes good. And how I overcame that, and I thought, no, I don't need to have that food, I've had that before, and how long will that satisfaction last? I talked to myself, I told myself all that stuff. But to live in between the food, and that serving others, thinking about somebody else, maybe encouraging someone else on Facebook, being like, oh, honey, I've been there too. This is how you can overcome this, that you're going to get through this, that kind of stuff. Some way to get your mind off of yourself, off of those cravings that are just going to go away anyways. They're going to pass through. If you just hold out, those cravings will go away. Something to get you busy off of those. Find something productive to serve, to help somebody else. It really does help. It's very encouraging. I remember the first time we went on vacation, those old habits were there, but we had been eating this way for quite a while. It was a couple months, because we started in October and I think we went on vacation in June. So it was a couple months that we were pretty solidified in this way of eating. And you go to a gas station and those old habits come back and tell you, oh, we stopped at the gas station, time for a treat. So that thought came, but it wasn't like this longing and yearning. It was just a thought, just like on the outside, like, oh, you should get like a cookie or something. And I'm like, I don't eat that anymore. That's not me. I just brush it off and it just went away. Like it wasn't that really strong craving, because we cut that sugar monster off. That doesn't have any say in my life anymore. So when you cut that off, then when it tries to whisper in your ear, you're like, no, you don't have any power over me anymore. And then I got like a black coffee and we kept going on our way. It was early in the morning, so we kept going on our way. And then the next gas station came and the thought was even quieter, and then farther away, and then farther away. It does happen. The cravings do go away. I promise. It does get easier every day if you just keep going. And don't let those cravings overpower you. Don't let them win, because they never do satisfy. They never do hit that spot that you're like, oh, I could just use a hit of that or something. It never does. It never satisfies. I remember we went to a buffet and there were like some egg rolls and there wasn't really very much vegetable things to choose through, so we were like, oh, we'll open the egg rolls and just eat the inside. And I remember having just one bite of that egg roll and I'm like, that was not satisfying at all, and the detox after that was not fun. So sometimes a hard detox can be a blessing in disguise, because I don't want to go through that like 3 weeks of detox again, like that initial detox. That was hard, but now I know I don't want to go through that ever again. So that can sometimes be a blessing in disguise. But those are just some things that you learn along the journey. Nobody's perfect, but if you keep going, you'll get there. So those are just some of my tips and tricks and things that I remind myself. I know, like, when temptation comes, I have to remind myself that, you know what, fitting into like a brand new size of jeans, like I used to wear a size 16. Let me grab those. I kept a pair of jeans from when I started, and they were tight on me, and they were the jeans that I loved forever, and I kept them. And I remind myself, this is what I used to wear, and this is what I wear now. From size, I think this is like a size 20 to a size 6 now, and sometimes size 4, depending on the jeans. They say jeans can differ from each brand up to 5 inches, so like size 6, size 4 sometimes, to size smalls that I was wearing like 2X's, extra larges, to size smalls that fit big, that fit comfortable, that I have such confidence now when I go places. I don't always think to myself, oh, I'm the fat one in the room, or oh, I might not fit in that chair, or oh, I can't sit there because I'm too big. I don't think that anymore, because it doesn't even fit in the camera screen. This isn't even me anymore. This is the person that was hiding inside of this body that I had to just kind of wait to get to this. And it is possible. If you stick to it, you will win every time. No matter how many times you fall down, get back up, dust yourself off, forgive yourself, and keep going. You can do this. If I can do this, you can definitely do this. Remember that, you know what? Don't get back into that guilt cycle of, oh, I ate bad food, now I feel horrible. We can eat our meals guilt-free. We get to go to bed guilt-free in the day, knowing that our meals were weighed perfectly. We fed our body exactly what it was supposed to eat, and it's happy, and that we get to wake up in the morning and feel so free and just do that process over again. 3 times a day, we get to do things perfectly right, perfectly science. We get to take our weight back into our hands and not just go through the diet cycle of lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight. No more. We can lose it, keep it off, and then keep this as a reminder of how far we really have come. It does happen. You'll get there. I love you guys. And remember, you're only one thought away from a good day. With joy, Natalie.